Welcome back everyone to another episode of Let's Play Majora's Mask. In the last one, we made our way here to Snowhead Temple, and now we are ready to trek forth because we already quelled the beast that was blowing wind. As you know, the sign here said high winds ahead, but not anymore. Fun fact, I do believe it's not this area, but it's the area back behind. There's actually some secret pathways. So I'm gonna give it my best shot to get across this in one go. It's always really tough, but I managed it. I don't know. It's crazy. It's weird because it's so narrow, and if you hit the pole, or sometimes if you hit the boulder. Also, if you notice the cut right about here, right about there, I died. So I had to go redo that part. So my efforts were all in vain. It's tough to go up this in one go because it gets narrower and narrower and starts curving more, and near the end you'll see there's actually a lip which helps you like turn so you don't fall off, but it's still really tough. So it's really cool if you can do it in one go and it's fast, but I just can't. So this is Snowhead Temple. It is a very icy place. It's there's some lava, but it's not the main component. Ice is much more the component. So as you saw before, apparently he booty shakes against the rock, and then Tattle wants to talk to him. These little guys, I don't know if they actually do any damage, but I don't like them regardless. The Goron is really strong, so he's able to push these blocks that Link otherwise couldn't. And now you'll see there's a lot of Stalphos in here. They're annoying because they have a pretty good guard, and they move around and dodge a lot. So I don't want to say they're the hardest enemy in the game. I don't think they are. They're just very versatile from what I've seen. And I just got bored with it, so I was like, you know what, just do that. And that worked. Other thing is that aside from there will be doors with the only keys for, also I can't hit anything with the Goron's aiming. It's just terrible. The thing is that not only do you have to find keys for doors, you also have to find a way to unfreeze the doors. And these guys, if you hit their wind, then you will in fact freeze. So you gotta be very careful. A slippery place like this, you can curl up with Goron and roll your way across. Why don't you try it? Yeah, slippery place, fine, because you go very little distance and you roll a lot, but you get onto this and you sort of mess up. So that's fail one. You could get frozen, that's fail two. And the final one, I managed to get it right, even though it looks like I should have got frozen. I don't know. But that crate at the end there is to help catch you. Also, the Goron can't jump for crap, so don't be expecting him to do any platforming other than the usual curl up and roll sort of thing. Inside here, it's pretty useless. It's actually much more useful later on to go through here, but right now the only use there is this chest, which does in fact contain a map of the place, which is par for the course. You usually get the map early on. By the way, the enemy that you saw there was called a real bomb chew. Apparently they're what the bomb chews are based off of, so fun fact there. This is the main pillar type of room that the whole temple is focused. This is the focus point, because you have to go from room to room, making your way up to eventually that spiky spot you saw up top. That's our end goal there. So with everything frozen, we can't really do too much other than go through the only door. So it's sort of linear at the beginning, but once you move forward, you could do some more. This room is largely useless except for the fact that if you pull out the blocks and put them into place, chest appears. That's cool, but more so, if you go back here, there's a small chest. Somewhat small, I mean, compared to the Goron. I had a hard time actually getting in front of it. And you get a small key. Very useful, and I think required. I can't be sure there, but I'm pretty sure. So, if you want to, you could put these into place like I do. It's not needed, like I said, but if you can tell, I mean, I'm sure you play a Legend of Zelda game. It's pretty obvious. If something can be put in place, you do it, and you're going to get a chest. That's how it goes, but in this case, you're setting yourself up for the chest later on, because you can't actually get up there as either Link or Deku Link or Goron Link or whatever. You can't jump on top of it. It's just too high up, so it's more of a platform to go from one side of the room to the other, so it's for later. And I believe that chest contains like a stray fairy, so it's pretty much useless if you're not going for the whole fairy route. not fairy route, but you know what I mean. If you're not going for the fairies, then you might not want to bother with this. Technically, this room, once you pull out the blocks and get the key, I think you could just leave. There's a surprising amount of rooms in here that can just be ignored completely. I forgot for a second, that's why I put on the mask, but I realized that, if you remember, from Woodfall Temple, we shot arrows through fire. I tried here seeing if I can burn away the ice, I guess. I couldn't. You can't. So your best bet is to just get somewhere behind the ice and the fire and then just shoot, and it'll open up your way. You can't really do that to any other room right now, but that's all you gotta do. So I'll bring you back to the main room, quick and easy. You technically don't have to go that way, but still it allows you to go to this one, which again has this sort of setup, and it does have another big chest, which, surprise, surprise, if it's this early on, it's going to be the compass. And indeed, it is the compass. So, I experienced something called a Failtastic Sam moment, where I managed to kill the Stalphos completely on accident, miss the wall. Oh, I guess I can't blow it up. Let me just punch it some. Turns out, I was terrible at the bomb throw, and the bomb actually does blow it up. Fun fact. You know, I'm just gonna point it out. There was an edit there, and I spent about a minute and a half trying to kill a Stalphos with bombs. This room is largely unimportant, except for the strafe area in here, which you can tell. You can use the or the lens of truth. My bad. To see that it's also marked by a sort of hanging piece of cloth over the edge. This room, you don't have to do too much. If you want the money, you know, it's there for you, but all you gotta do is just shoot down enough icicles to break the ice so you can get up here and get the key, which conveniently lets you out of the room. And here it's a little bit annoying, but not really. Puzzle. All you gotta do is, well, Tattle would tell you, oh, what, you think you could push something down that big just by standing on top of it? You're gonna need find a way to pound. Well, I have a button for that, so use that. And of course it triggers two things, that thing and that thing, allowing you to get across as a link, which is pretty cool. Indeed. I've actually made the mistake of pounding the second yellow one without coming over here and pounding this one first, which completely nullifies the whole idea of doing this. Because now that you have your way up, there's no way to get out, so you have to put that down. Later on, because I'll have a item, I'll be able to just ignore this thing completely. Like I said, the Goron can't climb for crap, so he is a little bit useless in platforming. And by a little bit, I mean very, very useless, like terrible. But this is a slippery area, so we are high up. You want to be careful, because there's lava down there. You won't get hurt by it, but you'll get fall damage. And you also don't want to run into the ice, because you will, in fact, get frozen. And that's no fun for anyone. You don't take a bunch of damage right off the bat. You instead take a lot of damage over time. But regardless, since we can't go in there and we can't go behind us, or we could, but we don't want to, I'm going to fill up on what we got here, which is, luckily, no mana magic. I always get those confused, I'm sorry. One's green, one blue. I should remember by now. Anyways, this is a mini-boss of sorts. The concept is pretty simple. He is a, what you would call it, a mage, and he teleports around from spot to spot. It's pretty obvious when he's teleporting in because there's lights and all that. I found it's easiest to don the bunny hood and use the arrows because it just lets you go around really fast. For some reason I had some hard time actually Z-targeting him, which is weird, but I got through it. I suppose if you were to roll around as a Goron, which I think they might have considered you doing, or maybe that's what they wanted you to, you do a lot more damage and kill him a lot faster. Regardless, the second phase of this fight is that he will make clones of himself. While he's trying to shoot ice, he'll make clones, and the fake ones will run around confusing you while the real one will stand still. That's how you tell. So if you just watch like that one, he wasn't transparent, so it's easy to tell that he was the real one. And it's just a matter of scanning the corners, which isn't tough now, but it is later. So it's a pretty simple boss, but maybe it's a little bit annoying if you don't go the whole ranged route. If you try to go up with a sword or Goron, it'd be tough. Also, I can't run in front of a chest to save my life, honestly. If that was timed, I would have been dead by now. So Link and the giant chest he has to almost fall into. We get our upgrade for this temple. It's the fire arrow. Set it to a button to power up your arrows. Things will heat up when you hit them. Pretty cool. So, makes an awesome noise. Ooh. And it uses magic, not mana, uses magic every time you go to do anything. Yeah, hearts and no magic. Sucks. Regardless, now, like I said earlier, that puzzle, I can now ignore because I could just blast through the ice, among other things. It makes it pretty easy. But at this point, you might actually get a little confused, like I got confused. So here, you'll see the room from below where the real bomb tree was in the map. Is that also you can kill those things, so that's cool. But if you want to hit those, the only way to get through to them is use fire arrows. And that'll activate that sort of elevator thing. It lets you go from one floor to the next, which is pretty... it's required later on, but for right now, it's just nice. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think you have to like break the ice, or this ice right here right now, but I still do. It leads you up farther to the next platform, but it's not really needed right now, because I don't think there's anywhere you can go from here. If I remember right. Yeah. So from here, you're sort of just stuck. Oh, except for right over there, and we don't have a key. So yeah. You can see that's the way we want to go, but oddly, there's no platform to get across, and it's not like we can just fly across. Oh wait, there's a platform. I wonder if that would work. So yeah, those guys, they just get their butt handed to them, and there's a small block in there, which useless. It brings up a chest that has a stray fairy again. It's just, I don't need it. If I want it, I'll get it, but not now. Also, as scary as balls, seeing all of them jump out like that. So if you see that button, remember that for later. That'll be needed later. But for right now, if we go in this room, it brings you to a room that spans 2 different levels. It's a little bit annoying in here because for a time I couldn't remember where to go. But then I realized I probably hit this, but I was a little confused where this flower leads. Turns out, if you use Deku Link, you'll get in the flower, and then we'll see that the flower that you're supposed to go to is like right next to it. So it's really annoying, but I mean they designed it properly. I'm not gonna fault them on that one. So yeah, the only annoying part here is that if you don't hit the platform automatically, then you will fall. So don't dawdle. See, because I went backwards and tried to get to it, and I just couldn't do it, which is my own fault. But I sort of got started out at a wrong angle. So now that you're up here finally, and I hope you don't fall, because I did, and that's not fun. You can do 2 things. You can unfreeze both ice on the green doors, which lead out to the main room on different areas. Or you can light the fires here, or you can kill the enemies. You want to actually light the fire, I believe. That's the required thing. The ice on the doors is necessary afterwards. Also, you saw it, but I never really pointed out until now. Oh, that, by the way, that's when it hit. That wasn't me falling or anything. That was when my computer crashed. I hope you know. So, I lost some progress. That sucks. But, anyways, back on to the topic. When you are playing it, or when you're a Link, you can change into the Deku, the Zora, or the Goron at will. But then if you want to go from, say, Goron to Deku, or from Deku to Zora, or whatever combination, whatever have you, then all you have to do is just switch what do you call it? Masks. Because it'll look weird, but like you'll put the Deku mask over the Goron mask, and suddenly you'll be a Deku, and your Goron one won't be in your hand. It's weird. So what you have to do now is to go up that path I showed you. So you get up here. You could do the puzzle again, but in reality, all you gotta do, like I finally remembered, is to burn through that. Very useful. Makes the room just another stepping stone. And now that we're up here, it's not told, but you sort of get the idea. You have to break these out. For a time I was confused. They're like glass, but it's weird. So, if you could tell, we have to drop them 2 more, and then we'll finally have a platform across. I went ahead and jumped to the very first room that we were in. Also, I can't seem to do this properly. I'm so good at this. Also, there's a stray fairy in the pillar in between the two platforms, if you noticed. I just realized I didn't edit this out. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm real tired right now. I can't believe I hit the ice so many times. Remember how we could come up here, and I mentioned the elevator? The elevator is useful, because the elevator will take you up to the next floor when we're on that floor, but we couldn't actually get to the proper door, which is the main annoying part. But with the use of this little elevator thing, brings us up a floor. Jeez, why am I having so much trouble with that? And now you're on this side of it, allowing you to just go all the way across. I actually had a problem where, like, as the Goron, I rolled across on that snow, and then I hit a bump on the wall, and it threw me way off, and I went straight into the lava. It was a little bit weird. But now as Goron, you can break through one of them, right here. Other one you can't. So all you have to do is just go across like this. Now this is what I'm talking about. You see that room with the key right there? You don't need to go into that room. I don't know what's in that room. It might be cool. It could be treasure and glory for all I know. But I ain't going in there because it's not required. Also, when you're in the dungeon, usually there's an animation that, or not animation, but there's a sort of minor cutscene that happens as day changes. The screen will actually get smaller. It's weird, and I have yet to show it because it hasn't popped up. But when you're in a dungeon, it doesn't actually happen. So you'll hear the bell ringing from so far away. But there won't actually be any sort of effect other than the time is technically changing. So this section, again, there is a useless room that we don't need to go into onto the left. Also, I accidentally went back down, but it's best if you were to want to go across, you should just go straight up and then not move and start curling there, because you are really strapped for space on this section. But with any luck, you'll make it across like I did. And all you have to do is switch to Deku Link and make your way to the left. To the right, I don't know what's over there. I don't know what is behind that door. I don't remember at all, I'll be honest. But we know we want to get into that room because you don't actually see it, but that's where the boss key chest is. Also, you can break through these things as Deku Link, or Deku Scrub Link. Anyways, so this is what I was talking about. It gets harder later. So here, there's different elevations, slightly, to where the platforms are, and there's a lot more of them. So again, I went with the same route of having the bunny hood, but I decided to use the fire arrows because I think it's based off how much damage you do and not how many times you hit them. I could be wrong though. I don't know. All I know is you can get frozen on the same spot of ice multiple times. So yeah, it's dawn in the new day in the middle of the fight. It's never explained who this guy is or why he's here, but I guess it's like, what? I'm intruding on your place. I'm gonna kill you now. So it's oddly Americanistic. Americanistic? That's not a word. Whatever. Anyways, so when he goes into phase 2, it is tough, but I found that just, again, looking in a big circle really helps. There's a bunch of pots up there. I assume they're magic and whatnot, if you need them. I actually moved towards them so that I had a better shot at hitting my fire arrows, but I got pretty lucky on the placements because the next one I believe is like right there. So I didn't actually have to do much searching, even though I missed it. I still saw him. As it's the thought that counts, not the results. I feel like that's terrible advice, but I don't care. So with that, there's no reward in here. I assume there could be a fairy, one that could resurrect you inside one of the, whatever you call it, the jars. It's possible, but I haven't checked, so I have no clue. Again, wonderful chest, and inside there is a wonderful key, the boss's key, so we can enter the boss's room. And I'll be honest, this is probably my second favorite boss. Not second favorite. This is probably my favorite boss in Majora's Mask, the Second favorite is probably the Icona Canyon because it's just so ridiculous. Even though I do have some gripes with it. Anyways, you can go like punch through all these, but I found that if you actually just go up in the corner, you won't like get bounced away or anything, and you can just charge up to a full roll, and then just go through like that. So, like I said, ignoring multiple doors, we can just go straight over to this place, and it's actually funny because in all other boss fights, I believe they were just waiting for you. In this one, he's actually frozen, and well, being the nice, courteous person that Link is, we decide to melt him away so that he has a fair chance of beating us. And boy, does he have a fair chance. So this is the mass mechanical monster goats. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to say it, but goat, whatever. So goat, the goat, or bull more likely, will run around in a giant circle in this room, and I really like this because of multiple reasons. Firstly, Goron rolling? Yeah, that's good. It's always good. Goron rolling is always good. Also, it's just sort of badass to roll around with spikes, though I managed to mid-air collide with that. So, any badassery I had is now gone. It's fun because it's really fast-paced, and also I like that, unlike with a lot of dungeons and a lot of Legend of Zelda games, like, just look at any of them in Ocarina of Time, you'll get a item, let's say you get the hook shot, and then the hook shot has some importance in the boss fight. Or you get the arrows, and now the arrows are very important in the boss fight. Here, F that. Nah, the mask is what's important, and that really changes it up. Because you have fire arrows, and they're important to the boss fight, and then they start it, but in reality, it's your mask that pulls the whole way. When I don't think it happens in the next two, but the first one in Woodfall Temple, that one really didn't have a need for the Deku mask. At least it wasn't fully it wasn't outright stated. But here it's pretty obvious you need the Goron's mask. Also, his attacks, as he gets more damage, you'll see he's like spouting electricity because he's sort of breaking apart. He's mechanical. He will throw bombs. He will throw beams of magic or like electricity, I guess. He'll kick up rocks and also slag tights. I think that's right. Will fall from the ceiling, blocking away, and if you hit them, they will slow you down. But there's a lot of jars. He also hits the stalactites. I think that's right. Whatever. I found that it's actually fastest to take him down is if you can get him to fall down and then get behind him, like I did early on. You can just do so much damage and beat him in no time. But regardless of how far through the room you are when you finally do the last blow, he will always run the full distance it takes to get to that exact spot. So it turns out, like, I could have gone backwards and been right there, but I went forwards and it took some time. I've actually had times where I've like almost like looped the whole way because it was right behind me, but I just went forward. So we got a heart container, and I just victory dance right there. Goron is happy, and we got Goat's Remains. You have just freed the innocent spirit that the Dark Mask had imprisoned inside the body of whatever. I like that his mask is like, it was as if it's a cover for a bull, but also like a face, if you know what I mean, of a human. What exactly are all of you? Says Tattle. Wait, it is Tattle, right? I haven't been, you know, Tails is the boy. Why am I now getting confused by that? I don't know. Guardians. I'll just say it ahead of you. Guardians. What? Yeah, they're guardians. What of it? So, you're protective gods. That's why you're in the temples, but why are the protective gods? I assume she was going to ask, why are the protective gods trapped? Or stowed away in these temples? Anyways, Tattle tries to talk to them, but they're like, no, lol, plot must continue. And then they just leave you on your way. I really like this. Woodfall, you beat the boss? Water's clean. You beat the boss? The people are saved, and now spring can commence on the mountaintop. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. It just feels so good. Because he's like, wait a second, it's not cold out. This is awesome. Also, if you notice, there was an extra door there that I never noticed before. Like, now I know, but I guess maybe it was frozen over? Regardless. Place looks really cool. And all the people are saved, except, you know, there's still snow up near Snowhead, which is aptly named. But now there's a lot of cool stuff we can do, and I believe there's some, maybe another mask or two we can get? I'm not really sure what we'll do in the next episode, but regardless, hope you enjoyed this one. It was really fun to do. Also, that's another frog, but that plays in later. There's some stuff behind the waterfall, there's stuff underwater, I think. There's certain things you can only do during the springtime. Anyways, regardless, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.